Go ahead, Donna.
Welcome to the show. I'm so sorry.
It's all their fault.
It's Jim's fault. Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The Messages of Inspiration and Hope is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. We're going to have a serious subject here to talk about, and I'm very serious about that. But before while the intro was playing, we were just having a little fun, and it just cracked. We get cracked up.
yeah.
It's all Donna's fault. If she wouldn't laugh, it wouldn't crack me up either.
Right. No, it's the snorting that gets you.
Yeah.
So our show today, folks, is really about Colonel Sanders.
Mhm.
And we are going to get into that. But
Mhm.
we feel it is our duty and our obligation to talk about something extremely serious
Yes.
that is going on globally, to emails, to texting on your phone, every kind of media that you have.
Mhm.
So we are going to go into that in a little depth. Jim, go ahead and take it away and explain, if you will.
Okay. Today I got an email from a guy, and let me just read the first sentence of that email. I'm going to talk about him a little bit. He says, "Hello, Jim Grant. I would be grateful if you could listen to what I have to say, which is important. I know you to be a great TV host because I do listen to you on TV and on YouTube. So I was curious to know you more. So listen to this. I decided to try to hack your Facebook, but I couldn't. So I tried hacking some of your friends' Facebook to get to you. And finally, I was able to hack one of your friends." He mentions the friend's name and all that. And he goes on, and this is, this is another big lie. I mean, it's true that he did that, okay? But this is a big lie. He says, "If you could remember, I saw you long ago, and I was trying to get close to you and take a picture with you, but you ignored me. And since that day, I have promised myself to get your attention." And he goes in, he says he's got nude photographs of me and videos and all that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do see some good nude videos of me or good nude, I can't even say it, nude photos of me, please let me know and send them to me. If they're not good, do all of us a favor and let's keep this country beautiful and just delete them, But my point being, of course, he says, get back to me because otherwise I can ruin you, okay? Well, you know what I did? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here in the United States, there is a website called IC3, the number 3.gov. It stands for the Internet Crime Complaint Center. And I go there and it's very simple. You can fill out a report. It takes about 5 minutes. I copied the entire email, including the name he uses and his email address. The name he uses, now, there's a lot of good people out there named John Peck. So I repeat, do not jump to the wrong conclusion.
Correct.
But he used the name John Peck. The email address he uses, JOHNPECK366@gmail.com. So John Peck, you say you listen to this show, which I think is a lie. Number one. Number two, you got all this false information about me. And then you're going to try to ruin me. I've already filed a complaint with the IC3.gov because I don't run from you or anybody else. And Donna, this brings out the fighting side of a lot of people, especially when some good-for-nothing scammer who belongs in prison, and if you're in Nigeria, John Peck or whoever you are, guess what? The federal government has put Nigerians in prison for scams.
Right.
So if I was you, I'd pack my bags and head straight to Tahiti or wherever you want to go because they can check your IP address and they can track you.
Right.
They're getting smart because, people, the elderly people are being preyed upon and they're being scared.
Okay. And that is near and dear to my heart, Jim.
Go ahead.
And, my mother, bless her heart, had dementia. And in the early onset of dementia, and obviously this was several years ago because she's been gone now for coming up 4 years. But in the early onset, I was still living out of state in Ohio, and she called me and she said, "Is my oldest son's name is he in trouble?" And I said, "Mom, what are you talking about? He's right here in the living room with me." And she said, "Well, I just got a phone call and he said he was, my son's name, and that he was in trouble and that he got in a little bit of trouble with the law and needed me to post bail." And I said, "Oh, for heaven's sakes, Mom, please tell me you hung up." And she said, "Yeah, I did, because at first I thought maybe it was him, but it didn't sound right. So I hung up." So my point is this, folks. If we, have elderly parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, it doesn't matter. Please talk to them. Please set up every possible protocol you can to protect them from these people who are trying to extort money from them via text, via email, doesn't matter. Please, please, please get out there and do your due diligence, and let's help our people who are really vulnerable, Jim.
Yes.
Very vulnerable.
Yes. There was, I was telling Donna before the show started that there was a gentleman, older gentleman, and he was always going into the local CVS here in Brenham, and he was buying these gift cards every day, or a gift card every day. And it was like, several $100s. And the manager says, "Hey, you're buying gift cards every day for $300-400? Yeah." And he asked him why. And he said, "Well, this real nice guy, he told him about all this money that he won or had entitled to all these millions of dollars. Pick $20 million, $40 million, or $2 million. The amount's the same. It's goose egg. Okay." And he kept telling him, "You got to send me a gift card here, or wire this money and all this stuff." And the manager told him, said, "Listen, you're being scammed." "Oh, no, I've talked to him. He's a real nice young person." See, they prey on the older folks, trusting people. And it's pitiful when our society dips down to the point of young people being able to exploit, or anybody being able to exploit older folks and try to pretend that they're nice people when they're evil, they're wicked, and they belong in jail.
Correct.
If you are a scammer, you belong in prison.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter who you are on planet Earth, because if with the IC3 and the federal government in the United States of America, they can lock you up and put you in the federal pen. And guess what? There's no good time in there for you brushing your teeth, shining your shoes, and making your bed. If the judge gives you 25 years, you're going to do 25 years unless the parole board decides to parole you. And I don't think they're going to be too apt about paroling someone from a foreign country to the streets in the United States because you're not a citizen.
Right.
But these people are evil. These people are wicked. They prey on people. And again, he went by the name of John Peck. His email address is johnpeck366@gmail.com. And I doubt very seriously if he's listening. But if you are listening and you threaten me to destroy my reputation by exposing nude photographs and nude videos of me and telling all the people around, after you already admitted in your first sentence you tried to hack my Facebook account and you couldn't, let me tell you what. This is my answer to you, John Peck, or whatever your name is. I don't run from you or anybody else because you're nothing but a scumbucket. You're a coward. And as far as I'm concerned, you deserve a life in prison, period. That's your answer from me, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, I very seldom get on a soapbox and speak my mind like that, but sometimes we have to, because the message of inspiration and hope is about a positive lifestyle. And if you got rats in your life who are eating on you like this, or eating on your family members like this, preying on their mind, trying to, weasel money out of them, and there's all kind of scams, IRS scams, you name them. You need to be able to identify those people, call them out. I called this guy out publicly. He sent me an email and said he's going to do all these things. And it's pretty sad when his first sentence, when I read it and I thought, oh my goodness, where'd you get your brains at, the idiot store? And he says, I know you to be a great TV host because I do listen to you on TV and on YouTube. So I was curious to know you more. So I decided to try to hack your Facebook account. I couldn't.
right? Well,
Right there, he's admitted to a felony.
he absolutely has. And, and we bring this to you
Mhm,
because we want you to be aware of the different
mhm.
kinds of scams that are out there to protect your loved ones and that
Yes.
you have resources. So I
Yes.
will cite a case in example. Many years ago, I flew into Arizona to visit with my folks. And of course, my mother with dementia, we went to the grocery store up the street and she had her cart and I had my cart. And I noticed this young gentleman kept going everywhere we were going, but had no cart, didn't have an item in his hand. But he wasn't by me, he was by my mother. And now you could
Mm,
tell my mother, with the dementia and, she walked a little crooked at that time. And you could tell that she wasn't quite all there.
mhm.
Um, and he kept following her. And apparently he wasn't making the connection that I was there or even called her mother. And he was following her everywhere she went. And what he was trying to do was go by her purse and use those little scan swipe things for her credit cards.
Mhm.
So I caught up to him in the produce department and I had, let's just say I had a little chat with him. And he left the story in a hellfire hurry. I can tell you that right now.
There you go. There you
Don't.
go.
So this is happening at our grocery stores too, folks.
Mhm.
So our folks, our grandparents, nobody is safe, nobody is immune. So just
Right.
let's bring some awareness to this.
Yes.
I even went to the managers of that grocery store and said, "Look, I know you have a lot of elderly folks that shop here. This is what I just experienced with my mother.
Mhm.
So please, in your staff meeting, have this conversation with your employees so that
Mhm.
they are aware of what is going on and
Yeah.
what they are trying to do
Mhm.
to our elderly citizens."
Exactly. And this is not an advertisement for these people. When
No,
Donna talked about the scanner and all that, I carry the Signal Vault. This was actually introduced. I saw it on Shark Tank. So you Shark Tank people out there, you can buy me a cup of coffee sometime if we ever ever cross. But realistically, I use this because they send you two of them. I don't remember what the price is, but and what it does, it protects the this magnetic
right.
strip on there
Mhm.
because the scanner cannot penetrate that. And if until you get some or whatever, you can also use aluminum foil.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. So you can use aluminum foil, but anything like that to protect you because these scammers, the really tragic part about this, ladies and gentlemen, if they only used half of the mental capacity that they have to try to do something positive, try to
Something
do
wonderful in this world.
right, be a blessing to others,
Mhm.
they would be 10 times richer. They would sleep good and they could walk around and not want to, have fear factor hit when they hear the
Right.
unexpected knock on the door.
Right. And and we all joke about, your car extended warranty is expired and
Oh
we
yeah.
get those phone calls or what have
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
But I've also been receiving on my texting on my phone, I've gotten one from Amazon and I got one for iPhone, saying, "Hey, this is Amazon and you've won this and click on the link." And the
Hmm.
same with the iPhone. Well, first of all, I don't own an iPhone. I'm a Droid person. I will die a Droid person. Um, so, obviously I deleted them. Amazon doesn't operate that way. They
Hmm.
obviously they couldn't. I mean, I
No.
deleted them, but just understand that once you click on that, you are giving them how'd you word it earlier, Jim?
They're giving them
Verification.
verification that they reached you.
Right.
That's a valid address. That's exactly what you're giving them.
Right. And so chances are it's a bot,
Hmm.
a robot set up to, ping out numbers, just boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
until
Hmm.
they get a hit.
Yeah.
And then it all breaks loose from there. And then
Yeah.
God knows what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I got an email in 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it kind of surprised me. And it's let me know that I'd ordered this product for $398. It's taken out of my checking account. I'm going, what? And I went and asked Evelyn. I said, Evelyn, I says, I didn't order anything for no $398. Because, my wife is like, she's my financial expert. I could tell a funny story, and I think I will here in just a moment. But anyway, she knows where every penny goes, every dollar goes. And when it comes to me buying something for $398 or something like that, unless it's something I need, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Because when it comes to that money like that, she's tighter than bark on a tree. And I mean that in a nice way. But I mean, she just, she watches her money because she's intelligent.
Exactly.
And I don't know if I'm not going to tell that funny story now because it's too much off topic about anyway. But my point being, you get all these scams in there. And see, it told me to click on this link.
Right.
To see where my shipment was. Don't do that, because once you click on the link, you verified that your email address, they reached because how many people's got email addresses that they don't use anymore? Mm-hmm. Think about that. And they might pick them up here or pick them up there or whatever. And therefore, if you answer, oh my God, hey, we got them.
Right.
And then they'll set you up for future scams. They're crooks, they're hoodlums, and they take advantage of people, and especially the IRS scams. That's a big one. Right. The IRS will not call you on your phone. They will send you a letter.
Right.
And then in that letter, it will describe, where you go, what you do, why they're contacting you. And then if it gets serious, they'll send you a certified letter. Let's see, that's something a crook won't do.
Well, and even the utility companies, Jim.
Yes.
There's a lot of that crap going around that these low life people are doing, and they're, well, this is SRP, this is it, blah blah blah. Whether it be email or via text, they will not do that. They will send you a letter in the mail.
Yes.
Again, they will send that letter in the mail. I mean, they are part of the government. Okay. Yeah. They are part of the government, local level, what have you, but they are part of it. So there is no way in anywhere that they would do that.
Yeah. You're exactly right, because the crooks nowadays, they're really coming out of the woodwork. I saw something on YouTube where they're trying to abuse the stimulus package. Mm-hmm. And please verify here if you did not get your stimulus package yet.
Right.
And they're looking for any way to verify who you are, your identity, and all that. So that's why I didn't answer this clown. I'll let the IC3. Now, again, here in the United States, if you want to report internet crime, you can go to, it's called the Internet Crime, it's part of the FBI, Internet Crime Complaint Center. It goes by IC3, the letter I, then C, then the number 3.gov, G-O-V. When you see .gov, that tells you that's a government agency. If you see .com or anything like that, not only with IC3, but any of them, if you see .com or whatever, that's not a government agency. Government agency always has .gov. Right. And we wanted to share that with you today because I spent a lot of time. I've got to get with Facebook there and let them know this guy tried to hack my account, and he hacked a friend's account. And, I miss, so John Peck, his fictitious name is John Peck. Let me put it like that, ladies and gentlemen. Email address, John Peck, Peck, 366 @gmail.com. So you try to intimidate me. If you are watching, which I know you're not, but ladies and gentlemen, from me to John Peck, this is in your face. I don't run from, you just took on a Vietnam veteran, retired master sergeant, and I don't run from you or any other two-bit tramp, because you're nothing but trash. You're just a trash. You're an embarrassment to your mother for giving birth to you. How about that, John Peck? Does that, you wanted to reply? Is that a good, do you think you'll understand my reply there, Donna?
I'm thinking if he's listening, he's going to get it loud and clear.
Yeah. And
Loud,
anyway, if you, yeah, especially with when they threaten you with nude photos and stuff like this,
right.
they can always Photoshop stuff. But hey, folks, do me a favor. If you find some really nice nude photos of me and I look really good, please send them to me because I don't have any.
You're, you're so
And I'm
silly.
too old and too ugly to have a good nude photo of me, But in any videos of it, let me know if I look good, which is my good side, And see, that's what I do. I laugh at people like that.
Right.
When I saw that first line where he says, "I tried to hack your Facebook account and couldn't,"
Right. That's
going,
intelligence, admitting to what
yeah.
you're doing right there.
That's like walking into a police station and said, "Yeah, I robbed that bank down the street. What are you guys going to do about it?"
Yeah, I got the $2 million, so
Yeah.
we're good, right?
I mean, just take stupid to a new level and say, "Let me show you how smart I am."
But it's just sad because
Yeah.
we're all in this world together.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
all trying to better ourselves, better our families, better our environment,
Yeah.
and be there for each other
Mhm.
with love and support and kindness.
Mhm.
And this just goes against everything that we stand for.
Yes. Yes, it does. And if anyone ever, and I'm not talking about myself here, but if anyone ever sees anyone being exploited and say, "Look at this," they may take a snapshot, put the, well, no, they do
Right.
Photoshop. I mean,
Oh, yeah, they can Photoshop anything.
and oh yeah, and uh, if you see anyone being exploited like that, don't go, "Oh my gosh, what a pervert!" Oh goodness gracious, stop that nonsense and report that immediately to the Internet Crime. I got to go back over there again. Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3.gov. Now, in your country, if for you folks that's overseas or whatever, I don't know who you would contact there, but I do
Sure, they have
know,
the same type of
yeah,
agent.
yeah, because Interpol is working together. They hate these good for nothing scammers just as much as me and you, okay? Just as much, if not more.
Mhm.
And Donna and I, we just decided to do this public announcement right here at the very beginning because we really wanted to talk about Colonel Sanders until I got that email in it at 11:32 today. And by 12 o'clock, the IC3.gov had johnpeck366@gmail.com. So if you get that in from that nitwit, go to ic3.gov, file out a report. It's very simple, just a few little blocks, and then copy everything, send it to them. Game over.
Yep.
Next. Yeah.
And let's put these guys where they belong.
Yes. Yes. It's been a philosophy of mine, whenever someone is trying to harm you and they're trying to hurt you and all that, don't live under a rock. Don't run from them. You just give them another problem.
Right.
Now, johnpeck366@gmail.com. Guess what? IC3.gov has got your information, everything that you said. And you threatened me. You admitted that you tried to create a felony, and you did create a felony by breaking one of my friends' Facebook account. So thank you so much for your stupidity. Thank you so much for emailing me. It was my pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, it was my pleasure to report this scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've hammered that enough. And
but we just felt
yeah,
that in light of everything, because we are more. Here's the other aspect of it. Because of where we are right now, we are more in social surroundings than we've ever been at any other time in our life, right?
Yeah.
So we are all on our computers more, we're all on our phones more. And so the criminals out there are going to try and get at you or someone you love. And we wanted to be able to let you know that you have a resource, you have a voice.
Yes.
To stop this. Because, I didn't know until Jim notified me, told me about it. I didn't know about the IC3. I had no idea, none. And I
Yeah.
said, yeah, absolutely. We need to talk about this because not
Mhm.
everybody knows where to go.
Yeah. Because naturally, when I got that email in, it upset me and it distracted me from, my focus on the show today. And just about 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes before we went live, I said, you know what, Donna? Maybe we should take this information because our show's about, inspiration and hope and good positive messages and all that. But you know what? You can't live a positive life if you do not do your part to stop criminals,
Hmm.
especially people who prey on vulnerable people who are elderly and things of that nature. They don't have the mental capacity they once did.
Correct.
I remember back when my dad, he had suffered several strokes, and this guy called him up on the phone. Now, my dad passed away in 78, so we never even heard the word internet or www. It's kind of like that comedian says, "Yeah, World Wide Web, that's 3 syllables. www is 9." So www ain't nothing, ain't short for anything. But he called up my dad and he was telling my dad he owed him this money. And my dad says, I don't know what you're talking about. It's all, Mr. Grant, yes, you did. And blah, 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 blah. It's really coming down hard on him. And Dad said, well, you got to talk to my wife because my signature is no good. Dad went down and made sure his signature was no good. He couldn't sign a check to buy groceries because he says, my mind's not where it used to be. It comes and goes, and I don't trust myself. And then my mother got the phone, and I think she explained to this young gentleman exactly how much money they owed him and how much money he was got coming. So there was no doubt she cleared up the mess and cleared up
Right.
the air.
Right.
And especially that's what ladies are good for, because when someone attacks someone in their family,
Ooh.
I mean, you may want to head straight to the mountains,
Well,
and you better run.
right. I look at it like this. You go after my family and it's probably you're going to be safer in prison.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think that kindly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I know this. I was teasing Donna, not teasing her, but I was telling Donna the other day after we had Dr. Belova on, and she was talking about how Donna has this fence around her and all that, and people that do her wrong on the other side of the fence, but also to, people like me who's real close to her, friends, we're like brother and sister. If someone attacks me, the mama bear in her comes out.
Yeah, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. Because as soon as I read that sentence to Donna, she knew that this guy did not know me. He says, yeah, I tried to have a picture taken with you and you ignored me. Well, I'm not wired like that. So if I'm ever out somewhere and speaking, if you think I'm worthy to have the honor of having a picture done with you or whatever, I'll be glad to do that, because I'm, that's not who I am. And this guy's, anyway, enough of him. But my goodness gracious, we're going to take a commercial break here. We come back. Did I talk about Colonel Sanders?
This man is off the hook fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. He had a short fuse.
Oh, wow. What's his fuse short?
Yeah. He had a short fuse, and it's interesting because I learned a lot about his life, and we're going to look how he overcame difficulties in his life. I mean, he literally went from clam, bam to wham, job after job after job after job, and he lost some of the jobs for, they said, conflict, which was probably fighting
Right.
or a loud argument or something like that, because you got to do something like that to, get fired. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this brief message from a good friend of ours, Mr. Rich Parson. He was kind enough to make a little video, because everybody that knows anything about the 6-minute webinar, it is the vehicle for you. It is the best marketing tool. We'll put the 6-minute webinar up against any funnel, any place, anytime. And we'll be right back right after this message.
The 6-minute webinar allows you to create a marketing product in a fraction of the time that it would typically take to create a webinar. And when you follow the simple process, you will provide laser-focused content to your ideal customers. And the nice thing is, it's repeatable for any product or service that you offer. My name's Rich Parsons, founder of Higher Calling Consulting, and creating my own 6-minute webinars has allowed me to have a 24/7 marketing presence for my ideal clients. So I encourage you to make the 6-minute webinar part of your business marketing strategy too.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We just have a lot of fun in between the time because, laughter is really good for you.
One of the best things that you can do for yourself.
Yes, it doesn't cost anything because it really does. There's so many benefits. We're not going to go into all of that because, to be honest with you, I don't know all the benefits. But my point being, laughter is really good for you to release stress. And after what we've been through today, especially me, I needed to release a little stress. And we talk about Colonel Sanders. My goodness gracious. His name was Harland Sanders. And Donna, I tell you what, he was born, let me get back up here on my notes. He was born in 1890. And his father died when he was about 5 years old. Six? Mm-hmm. And he had a rough life, and he was his mother was working at a factory, a cannery factory, tomato plant, and he had to start preparing the meals for the kids because his mother was out of town working.
Right.
And it was up to him to, feed his siblings because he was the oldest child.
Right.
And
at 6 years old, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So that's where he started acquiring his cooking skills. And
and by the time he was 10, he
Mhm.
took a job as a farmhand. And
Right.
during his life before KFC, he
Mhm.
held several positions. These included painting horse carriages,
Mhm.
being a streetcar conductor,
Right.
selling insurance, working as a railroad fireman. He also worked as a blacksmith's helper, cleaned ash bins on trains, operated a ferry boat on the Ohio River, sold automobile tires, and even at one time became a midwife delivering babies.
Whoa. Yeah, he had quite a resume there. And what was interesting about Colonel Sanders is that it was either 2 or 3 times he actually lost his position where he worked at because of his temper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, conflict, they call it conflict. But I mean, the conflict to be fired, you've got to be pretty much fired up for that. And I get a kick out of the way that back in 1920s, when he had the ferry boat there on the Ohio River, and he was canvassing for money, and he became a minority shareholder in it. And the ferry was an instant success, but in 1922, he had to take a job as a secretary at the Chamber of Commerce in Columbus, Indiana. And he admitted that he wasn't that good of a secretary, so he had to resign after a year. And he cashed in his ferry boat business for $22,000, which is probably close to $350,000 today.
Right.
And used the money to establish a company that made acetylene lamps. And it failed because Delco introduced the electric lamp, and they sold it on credit. So he went from that to being the salesman at the Michelin Tire Company. He lost that job when it closed its doors in New Jersey. And then he met a general manager with Standard Oil and gave him a service station in Nicholas, Kentucky. And that station closed because of the Depression. So my point being, in us mentioning all those things, that's what I meant earlier when I say he went from clam bam to wham.
Right.
And he just, he just kept on, kept on. He hadn't found his purpose in life.
Well, and it was interesting because Jim, even back as far as 1906, he
Mhm.
falsified his his age
Right.
and enlisted in the U.S. Army,
Mhm.
serving in Cuba for several months.
Yes.
So he was, um, I mean, he his heart was in the right place, but
Yeah.
he did it by his own admission.
Mhm.
We're not saying anything out of school here.
No, no.
He had a hair trigger temper, and he did
Yes.
not back down from a fight for anything. And
Mhm.
he also, this part just cracked me up. He he appeared to be, a sweet Southern man, right, with his hair and the little beard and everything. But not only did he have that hair trigger temper, um, but he swore like a sailor. And in
Mm.
1970, he had an interview with the New Yorker Profile, and he said, I quote, "I used to cuss the prettiest you ever heard."
Oh my goodness. Yeah. He was quite a character, and
He
he went through a lot of different things in his life. And, you know, he was bouncing around. That's basically what he did. He bounced around from job to job because in 1930, Shell Oil Company offered him a service station in North Corbin, Kentucky. And they offered it to him, let him operate there rent free if he would pay them a percentage of sales, which he agreed to. And this is where he started to serve chicken dishes and
right.
other meals like country hams and steaks. And initially, he just served the customers in his adjacent living quarters before opening his restaurant. And it was during that
Across the
time,
street,
yes, yes.
right across the street. Yeah.
Mhm. It was during this period that Sanders was involved in a shootout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean Colonel Sanders. I mean, he'd not only fry your chicken, he'd also cook your goose too.
Right.
He was involved in a shootout with a guy by the name of Matt Stewart because Matt was a local competitor, and the shootout was over the repainting of a sign that was directing traffic to Matt Stewart's place rather than Colonel Sanders. And Stewart also he killed a Shell employee who was with Sanders, and the
He
guy
was an
got
executive.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and he was convicted of murder, and which he's off
Served
to
18
prison.
years for.
Yeah, and then Sanders had the title of colonel. It was not a military rank; it was an honorary rank
Correct.
that was issued to him. I guess you say issued or bestowed upon him, whatever you want to say there. He was in 1935 by Kentucky Governor Ruby Laffon, Laffon. So he was commissioned as a Kentucky colonel, and it was an honor.
Right.
And then what really set him off on the right place was in 1939, a food critic by the name of Duncan Hines.
Right.
We heard that name out before, Donna. Duncan
Yeah, just
Hines.
a time or two.
Mhm. Duncan Hines visited Sanders' restaurant, and what he said, and this was, he says, Sanders Court and Cafe, that was the name of it, in Corbin, Texas, a very good place to stop en route to Cumberland Falls and the Great Smokies, continuous 24-hour service, sizzling steaks, fried chicken, country ham, hot biscuits, and that was what really shoved his popularity, gave it a good shove that he needed.
Correct. Correct. But so here's the interesting thing, folks,
Mhm.
is that, so many times we think we're so busy in life. We're too old. Our dream is we're doggone it, we're past our time.
Yeah,
But you're not.
yeah.
You're not. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old, and he was reliant on $105 a month of
Yes.
Social Security check when he first incorporated Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Mhm.
And he then drove his 1946 Ford all over the country, signing up new franchisees.
Mhm.
Now, his first fast food restaurant for Kentucky Fried Chicken was in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wow, that's really interesting, Donna, because when I read that, I'm thinking, geez, he's in Corbin, Kentucky. There's got to be at least, I don't know how many hundreds of restaurants between Corbin, Kentucky and Salt Lake City, Utah.
Right?
Whatever he saw that met his standard or did not meet his standard, that was the deciding factor.
Mhm.
But talk about going the extra mile. That's one of the success principles of life, isn't it?
It is. It is. And, he pursued his dream.
Mhm.
He didn't let the fact that he was 65 years of age and that he was literally surviving on $105 a month Social Security. He didn't
Yeah.
let that stop him. He
Mm-mm.
knew what he had was a gold mine.
Yeah. He had creative vision
Mhm.
and he knew, see, he had come up with this special way of preparing and cooking chicken.
Right?
And he did it in a pressure cooker because that would take less time than frying in a pan.
Right.
But his secret was the herbs and spices.
11 herbs and spices, Jim.
Yes, 11. Yeah. And when he franchised it, what he did, he supplied each restaurant with specific instructions, and they bought the herbs and spices, the 11 of them, from him directly.
Right.
And he, of course, is a franchise. I think his first franchise, he was charging like 4 cents per chicken. Now, that's not chicken piece. That's for the entire chicken. He got 4 cents back on that,
Right.
which is really fair when you think about it, because he allowed he realized the franchisee had to make a profit to stay in business. And he supplied him and his wife. His wife mixed the herbs and all that and sent it right out. And then it was in 1963, I think he sold the Kentucky Fried Chicken, didn't he?
It was
You
in
recall?
1964.
64.
64.
Yeah, he sold it for $2 million, and which is equivalent to a little over $17 million today. And let me explain what that means. A lot of people, when they think about inflation, they think about prices going up. And that's not really true. That's the result of inflation. But what causes inflation is not the products going up. It's the value of the dollar on the buying market, on the world market.
Right.
That's what
And
causes
back
inflation.
then, though, it was on the gold standard.
Yes. We came off the silver standard in 1971.
Right.
So you can go in there and say, how much was $100 worth in 1935, 1970? And then do it from 1970 to year 2020 or 2021, whatever you want to do. And you'll see the proof in the pudding there. But that's
Right.
why. But yeah, he sold it, and he remained over the operations there in Canada, I think. And true to his school, with his temper, he got mad at him because he felt that they were not doing the chicken right.
No, it wasn't the chicken. It was the gravy that made him mad.
Oh, is that what it was?
It
Oh,
was
okay.
the gravy. He kept saying, "You're serving slop. You're serving slop." And so he was going around bad mouthing them about the sloppy gravy that they were serving
Mhm.
because he had perfected his gravy. Now,
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, I think my gravy's way better than his, but that's just me. But it was awesome because he wasn't going to put up with it.
Yeah.
He was so mad, he wasn't going to put up with it, that he put his time, his love, his passion,
His heart and soul.
his heart and soul. I mean, he budgeted his time and money to make this a reality.
Mhm.
And now they were serving what he deemed slop.
Mhm. Yeah.
So guess what he did, Jim?
What's that?
Sued him.
I love that. I love that because, the principle in that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, whatever it might be, you put your name on whatever product that you sell. Your name is on it.
Mhm.
You've got pride in it. You got skin in the game.
Right.
And if someone else is going to represent you and they water it down,
They're watering you down.
yes, And you've got to stand up. You got to have the moral fiber to stand up and say, enough is enough.
Yep. And
You
so
really do.
he sued him, and I believe he won $1 million off of the lawsuit.
Mhm.
And then in 1964, after he sold KFC, he and his wife opened a restaurant in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Mhm.
And he later renamed it to the Claudia Sanders Dinner House, which, interesting enough, is still running and operating today.
Wow. Mm.
Right. But I mean, this is the beautiful thing, that he had struggles, Jim. He
Mhm.
had, um, he sometimes got in his own way. We
Mhm.
all do at times. I mean, it's a learning process. Life is about
Right.
learning and about going forward. He got in his
Mhm.
own way, but he learned from his defeat, and he
Mhm.
didn't give up.
Yeah.
Budgeting money and time, using, applied faith, being in the right
Mm.
place, enthusiasm. So when he
Mm.
first opened his franchise and went around the country in his 46 Ford and got
Mhm.
people to be franchisees, that was not only self-discipline, Jim, but applied faith that other
Yes.
people were going to understand what they had in this.
Mhm. And he also had a definiteness of purpose, because when he set out, he definitely wanted to accomplish his mission. And the thing that really also we got to bring out is that he was able to maintain good, sound mental and physical health.
Mhm.
Because I think he was 90 years of age when he died, wasn't he?
He died in 1980, if I recall right.
Yeah, yeah. He sure
But
did.
now this is what's funny. Now, this tickled me to no end. So when he started wearing, when he went by the name Colonel, right? He wore a black suit. Well, he was in the kitchen, and he's always, battering chicken. And what happens when you batter chicken? You get flour and whatnot all over you.
Mhm.
So he changed his suit to be white, so the flour wouldn't show as much. And this was funny, right? And I'm notorious. I can pull out a tablespoon of flour for something, have flour all over me. So I totally understand that one. But this was funny. His mustache and his beard was jet black. He bleached it to match his hair to become more of a colonel.
Mm. That's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, because it just gets me. Because I never thought about that, about the white suit. Because that would be flour on a black suit. Oh,
Oh
you can
yeah.
see that a mile away.
My
And
mama said from the time I was in the kitchen at about 5 years old, I couldn't pull out flour for anything without some of it being on me somewhere. And at 56 years of age, I still do it. It doesn't matter. It
Mhm.
just sucks itself right up to me.
Yeah, you just you attract flour and flowers, right?
Right. I'm a flour magnet.
Yeah, I hear you. I tell you, it's really great to be able to talk about Colonel Sanders and to realize that when he started out back then, age 65, you were old.
Oh my goodness. You were done.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
rocking chair material.
yeah. You were ready for the Empty Arms Hotel or whatever they call it. You were ready for the rest home.
Right.
Yeah. And yet he had that burning desire.
To fulfill his destiny and his dreams.
Yes. Yes. Because he was so proud of what he created there with 11 herbs and spices.
Mhm.
And he says, wow, I need to take this to the world. And ladies and gentlemen, as we think about that, think about what you've created that's very, very special. It's your responsibility to take that to the world.
It is.
Especially if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, if you are a good listener, and you can help people in their hour of need. It's your responsibility, not obligation, but
Right.
responsibility.
And it's also your divine gift and calling.
Thank
It
you,
is your
Donna.
divine gift and calling. And
Mhm.
that's what we're really here to do, folks.
Mhm.
We are all here to uplift one another and help each other, because nobody gets anywhere in this world alone.
Yes. You're absolutely correct. And there's no such thing as a self-made millionaire.
No.
No such thing. And one of the things that I like also about Colonel Sanders, his story, he started at age 65. I mean, imagine how some of the younger people who owned a restaurant, 35 or 40, see this
Right.
old guy come in, and he's trying to sell them his herbs and spices, and they're probably thinking, and he would actually get in there and go to work.
Right.
He'd actually fry up the chicken. He'd go, hey, this stuff's pretty good. You better believe it is. And it was the franchisee out in Utah, I think it was, that the marketing guy came up, and I don't remember what Colonel Sanders was calling his chicken then or whatever, but he was the one that came up with Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Correct.
Mhm. Yeah.
He had a different name, and I don't know if I have that in my notes or not.
I didn't see that, to be honest with you, and because I looked for that and I did not see it. And but the creative vision he had, because he knew he had great chicken, he knew people loved it,
Right.
and he knew if he cooked that chicken with those herbs and spices in there in a pressure cooker rather than just an open frying pan or a covered frying pan, it would cook more complete and would taste better. It was just a perfect 1-2 punch. You got the great way of preparing it. You got a great way of cooking it, and it tastes so delicious. Because I remember, I got to be honest, I remember back in the 60s when I first ate the chicken, I thought, wow, this is fantastic.
Right.
And then somewhere along the way, it kind of, like in the 80s, I remember correctly, I was stopped at a Kentucky Fried. It could have just been a bad day for them, but it didn't taste it. It didn't have that, just wasn't, I couldn't explain it, but it just didn't taste as good. It tasted more fast foodish,
Yeah.
if I could use that term.
Right. And I think we've all seen that, unfortunately, that a lot of the franchises that we grew up with that came out, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, the recipes have changed over the years.
Yeah.
And so they are different than what we grew up with having them.
And there's a principle behind that, because many times in big corporations, the way some of the bean counters in there cut cost is that they start cutting quality.
Right.
Now you think about that, because you folks out there, it's entrepreneurs and business people and all that. It doesn't take any brains at all. You can get a 10-year-old kid to say, okay, if this costs this much and this costs this much, and they're both basically the same, which one we should buy? We'll buy the cheaper one.
Right.
But see, where the real power comes in as far as the mental capacity and what you're hired to do, your responsibility is to cut overhead costs, yes, but you never cut quality. You want to know why you never cut quality? You never have to explain or apologize for having great quality.
Right.
Having a great product.
Exactly.
And Donna, when it comes to you, and I think we got so wound up here, I forgot to put your stuff up there. My goodness gracious, you're going to have to get some good help in here, Donna. When we talk about DonnaGuinois.com, I know what you do there, and I know a lot of folks that might be new to the show or whatever. Would you just take a couple of moments and share with them what you do there at DonnaGuinois.com?
Absolutely. So, I am no different than anybody else. I've had struggles, a single mom, raising 3 children on my own. And back when I was 49, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And the day I was told I had multiple sclerosis, I was also scheduling the first of 3 brain surgeries. Now, the brain surgeries I had was because I had a very nasty aneurysm on my internal right carotid artery. So it was literally right behind my right eye. And I had those brain surgeries, all 3 of them, in a 14-month time period. During that time, trying to deal with my MS, raise my children, depression set in. It was difficult.
yeah.
I've had spinal taps. I've had more blood taken from me than most vampires could ever use in a lifetime. to be really honest with you. And it was a really difficult struggle. And I found myself kind of in a spiral down point. And
Mhm.
after my final brain surgery in 2016, I could not speak a full sentence. I could not remember words. So, for
Mm.
any of you who know me or you see me on TV, you know that, talking is not an issue for me, right? So it was difficult. I couldn't be there properly for my children when they
Mhm.
came to me with problems that they had because I couldn't get the words out, and it broke my heart.
Mm.
And I only share that because I understand what that feels like. I know that kind of pain, that loneliness, and that really isolation that we have. So I did my absolute due diligence and said this has to end. And through about a year of research and what worked, what didn't work, I came up with high energy performance coaching. And what that is simply this: understanding where you're stuck in your negative energy,
Mhm.
right? When you are stuck in your negative energy, it pushes everything else out: the joy, the happiness, the life, the way the smile, the way you respond with family. It takes all of that out of the picture. So it's finding that energy, the right energy, getting rid of that
Mhm.
wrong energy, and that comes down to really three things: people, place, or things. So I help people get in touch with where they're stuck and find out why they're stuck so that they don't have to live in that space anymore.
Amen. Amen. And I love your email address there, high energy right now at gmail.com. Because if you're struggling out there and, as Donna talked about, being depressed, getting aggravated too. I imagine sometimes you just got totally frustrated with your situation, and
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
perfectly normal, and perfectly natural and human. My goodness, who wouldn't? But, when she selected high energy right now at gmail.com, that shows you the passion that she wants you to have
Absolutely.
when it comes to helping you free yourself from the negative energy.
And
And
please
lady,
email
yeah,
me, and
yeah.
my
Mhm.
gift to you is a free 20-minute sit down discussion on how I can help you and
Mhm.
if we're a fit for each other.
Yeah, and be sure and use my 20 minutes because Donna's already told me I was beyond help for some reason.
It's because he makes me snort on TV.
Yeah. I do things like that. We always have fun because, it's even though we started off this show today with a very serious subject about scammers, you know what? They did not own me and they did not own Donna. And in fact, this is the second show we've actually opened laughing. It's Donna's fault. But but this was the first show that neither one of us could say anything we first
I
started out.
know.
And
I did a
it
few
just
shows that way.
yeah, yeah. But the point being is that whenever negative things happen to you and negative people come at you and they try to, drag you down, upset you, or,
Oh, yeah.
whatever the case
They
may
want
be.
you to live in their negative space.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Donna. The fact of it is that don't. Because we started out the show giggling, even though we talked about a very serious topic, how I was getting this guy, going to threaten me and scam me and all that stuff. And I
Try and
just
ruin
reported
you.
yeah. And be sure, ladies and gentlemen, get in touch. If you, regardless where you live around the world, there is a law enforcement agency that works very closely. I think it's Interpol. I think those are the ones that's connected, but they all work together to
Correct.
put these scammers, these internet crime, good for nothing scum buckets in prison because that's where they belong. And be sure and don't let it upset you. Enjoy a good laugh like me and Donna did because the laugh is on them.
Right.
The laugh is on them.
And
And
you're
ladies,
never too old to start your dream.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, Colonel Sanders was 65 and I'm 72. So watch out, world. Here I come, right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. We sincerely hope that the information we shared with you during the first half of the show about scammers and how to react to that and what to do, we hope that's a blessing. Be sure and share that with someone else. And like Donna, you talked about, get with your parents
Oh, yeah.
and make sure you set proper protocols into place and a safety net so that no good for nothing scammer can worry them or bother them.
Or take their money.
Yes, yes, yes. And be sure to love yourself first and love others, and, I always like to say, treat people like you want to be treated, which means you show them love and respect. Donna, this has been a wonderful show. Thank you
It has
so
been.
much. Thank you so much, my dear friend.
Thank you, Jim.
We are quite welcome. We hope you guys out there have a nice weekend. Bless you. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.